Hello everyone and welcome. Today's video I am finally going to be sharing the massive wonderful haul I got in London. If you have not seen already, I did 3 manga shopping videos, I think, where I went to a whole bunch of stores in London where you can buy manga. Some of them I'd been to before, some of them were completely brand new, and it was super exciting. So it's not going to be entirely manga, there's going to be some light novels as well, but the light novels were mainly bought by my partner, so I'm going to not be able to talk about them as much unless they also have a manga equivalent. So usually when I do my haul videos, I do it completely alphabetical. This time I'm going to do it a little differently. I'm going to be doing store by store, but it's still going to be alphabetical store by store. So on the table, we've already got all the stuff that I bought from basically everywhere that wasn't Forbidden Planet, because Forbidden Planet is going to be a beast into itself. Also, I am going to split Forbidden Planet into regular 3 for 2 and the stuff I bought on sale, because I think that's quite interesting to see all the sale stuff. Also, light novels will probably have a section of its own because he bought a lot of light novels in Forbidden Planet. Today's video is also going to be a top down because goodness me people, it is hot as balls in the UK at the moment. I'm not doing too great because I am very sensitive to heat. I am weak, and I feel gross and I look gross, and you don't need to see that. All we care about is the manga, so you don't need to see how gross and pink and sweaty I am. We just need to see the nice manga. I'm going to try and film a few videos this weekend, and they're all probably going to be top-down ones, so if you see a whole bunch back-to-back of top-down videos, that is why. It's very hot and you don't want to see my gross face. Just before I get into showing you the manga, light novels, and general wonderful goodness, don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe for more manga content, and also don't forget to leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about all the stores. If you haven't watched the manga shopping videos, do be sure to go check those out. They'll all be found linked down below. Also, don't forget to go follow my social media links, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Let's dive into it. So we're going to start with this store first. So this, because I only bought 1 volume, and it is I bought Cat Gamer Volume 1 from Mega City Comics. So Mega City Comics, so I want to talk a bit about each store as well. So Mega City Comics was the only store that I hadn't prepared to go to before I went to London. I put a poll on my Instagram asking, is there any other places in London that you can buy manga from? And Mega City Comics was kind of the only one that was mentioned multiple times that I didn't already have on my list. So it is located around Camden Market. I'm not too great with the geography, I couldn't tell you what constitutes Camden Market and what doesn't. Nearby, at least. And they had a nice selection considering it seemed to primarily be comic books. They had, I think, 3 or 4 shelves, if I recall correctly. They had loads of Volume 1s. There's so many Komi Volume 1s and Demon Slayer Volume 1s. I know loads of people have been struggling to find Komi Can't Communicate Volume 1. They had loads of them. Quite a lovely little store. I'm not sure if I'd go back because, well, I'm not sure I'm tempted to go back to Camden Market, which means I probably wouldn't go back to this place because it was just a bit too busy for my liking. If I went at like 3 p.m. on a Tuesday, maybe, but I don't like crowds, hence why I pretty much do my manga shoppings either very first thing on a weekend or when I've got a day off midweek. Yeah, so I picked up Cat Gamer and I gotta admit, I loved it. I absolutely adored it. I've been trying to convince my partner for a very long time to get a cat, and he's been a bit unsure. He's not too big on animals, but I love cats. My parents have a bunch of cats. Just before I picked this up and started reading it, I'd vaguely mostly tempted him into wanting a cat now, and I was like, you need to read this, because as big gamers, I was like, this is something we need to read, and I thought it was amazing. If you like cats and you're a gamer, especially like MMO stuff, there was so much about some of the games the main character was playing that I was like, oh no, this is like the game I was playing. She spent ages trying to get this 2% drop on a boss, and I'd literally spent the day before trying to get a 2% drop on a boss fight, and I was like, oh my god, the similarity, it's disturbing. So yes, very much enjoyed that. I can't wait Volume 2. So that was Mega City Comics. So we'll do this store next, which was Waterstones. So this was the really big Waterstones on just yeah, it's on Piccadilly. So I did try one on Trafalgar Square and it was a bit of a meh, but apparently it isn't one of the bigger Waterstones, because there's like 5 or 6 Waterstones in London, and I was like, well, let's try a couple because they're all close together. And apparently the one on Piccadilly is huge, one of the biggest bookstores in Europe or something. But I decided to try the Trafalgar Square one first because we could walk to that one from where we were before, bus, so then we walked on to Piccadilly. And they had a great selection. Because all the places that I'm talking about here were retail, and if you've seen any of my hauls or general other videos, I don't like paying retail. I like discounted, I like sale, I like half price, I like 3 for 2. So I was trying to be a bit more picky about what I picked up. I wanted to pick up volumes that I'd been struggling to find or hadn't seen anywhere else really, or like new releases. So Cat Gamer I'd been struggling to find in other places. Also Dark Horse means that it wasn't a 3 for 2 in the Forbidden Planet in London, but I haven't seen it in Leeds, so I was like, I'm happy to pick this one up. So the first volume I picked up in the Waterstones was the case files of Jeweller Richard Volume 1. This is another volume where Volume 1 hadn't appeared in Leeds. In hindsight, watching the footage back, I realised the Forbidden Planet did have it, so I could have got it as a 3 for 2, but I missed it. My mistake. So I do slightly regret getting this one at Waterstones, but I am happy I managed to pick it up. It was quite a wholesome, sweet read. It was calm. I'm not sure there was much about it that I was like wowed by. I found it more interesting. I quite like mystery case sort of series. So I'm hoping that that's what this is going to be continuing on. I have since picked up volume 2, so I could see if it still is. So the next, actually I'll spin this around. The next volume I picked up is Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. As I said in the shopping video, Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End is my favourite Pirates of the Caribbean movie because the soundtrack is banging, absolutely banging. Hans Zimmer, goodness me. And I quite like some of the fights in it. I picked up Dead Man's Chest second hand around Christmas time. I don't know if there's a Black Pearl one or a On Stranger Tides, and I haven't even seen the 5th one actually. I can't remember what it's called because they called it different things in different countries. I think it's called something different in the UK compared to like everywhere else. Yes, very excited and haven't seen this one in store anywhere. Pretty much the only place I've seen the like Tokyo Pop Disney manga has been Forbidden Planet Manchester, and they didn't have this one, so hyped for that. I also picked up Toy Story Special Collectors manga because how could I not? Yeah, so I believe it is Toy Story and Toy Story 2, so there's 2 stories in one. It was a little battered. I don't quite understand why the covers are flipped because I saw the covers were flipped and I was like, oh okay, it's volume 2 from the back. No, it's wait, is it? Oh, it is flipped. I'm just blind. Okay, so yeah, half of it is Toy Story 2 and half of it is Toy Story 1. That'll be exciting to read. Add some more to my trash official licensed manga. And then the last 2 copies of manga that I picked up in Waterstones was Grimgar Fantasy and Ash Volumes 1 and 2. These have been quite hard to find. I had ordered Volumes 1 and 3 about a year ago now, and then they failed to ship. Sometimes that happens, especially when I'm buying second hand, that they realise the copies they have are actually too damaged to send out, or they actually didn't have the copies they thought they did when they list them. So usually I end up just getting emails going, really sorry, but we can't actually send these out, here's your refund. And that happened with volumes 1 and 3 of this. I did pick up volume 3 half price in Travelling Man Manchester, and I was really excited to see volumes 1 and 2. It is only a 3-volume series, and from my understanding also an isekai. By the time our hero comes to, he finds himself in a game-like world filled with terrifying monsters. This world is called Grimgar. Yeah, so I'm quite excited about that, and also now it's complete. I'm already complete with it. In 3 volumes, you don't tend to get isekai that's that short, so that's exciting. So that is Waterstones done. That is Mega City Comics done. We'll do this stack next, which is, oh, where's this one? Foyles. This is Foyles. So just quickly before I move on to the next store, Waterstones, I'm not sure I'd go back really. I do kind of like their stock, and I like that I managed to pick up volumes that have been a bit harder to find. I'm not sure I'd make it like a regular manga store I'd try and go to, especially since it's a little bit further out of the way than like some of the usual places I tend to go to when I go down to London. But I might actually go back, just not every time. So the next store is Foyles. I really quite liked Foyles, especially its proximity to Forbidden Planet. I could definitely see myself going back a bit more often because of how close it is and if I'm already in the area, and I often tend to walk that way to head towards like Soho for lunch or something. So walking past, I probably would go in, especially since the light novel selection was quite good. My partner really liked that, and they too also had some manga that is a bit harder to find, or some series where I've struggled to find certain volumes. Also, mainly it's easier, it's not as difficult to get to. So the first book manga volume on top, it's not manga, it's a light novel. It is called Warlords of Sigridifa Rush. Oh dear me, pretend I didn't say anything. This is the light novel that he picked up. It is a hardcover. You don't get too many hardcover light novels. Overlord, and I'm struggling to think of what else there is. I think my partner said to me that this is the same author as Read Zero, but I can't remember too well. Next we have Alice in Bishuan Land Volume 1. I haven't been able to find Volume 1 so far, but I did already have Volume 2. It is only a 2-volume series. It is kind of an isekai. Our main character is isekai'd into a mobile game where she has to become the manager of a boy band and see them to success, and then she can leave the game. It is so weird. It is such a weird isekai series. It's so aware of itself. Like, there are points where one of the characters sort of is like giving them telling her how the game works, and that she can use real money to buy golden coins so she can roll you can spin the gold gacha, which only has rare items. We are awarded bonus points if we wear rare costumes during stage battles. It's to our advantage, so I recommend trying to get them. I'm not sure I'd recommend it. It's just a bit too strange. Even I was like, it's just weird as hell. It is only 2 volumes long, and you don't tend to see many even isekai at 2 volumes long. I did kind of enjoy it. I don't think I'm raving about it though. Next we have Eminence in Shadow Volume 1. I bought Volume 2 half price on Blackwell, so maybe buying this retail evens it out. It's apparently an isekai. I haven't started reading it yet. I don't like how thin it is. I've not been able to find Volume 1 up north in a while, so I've been looking for a couple of months now. I was like, I'll just grab it since they have it, but looking forward to get stuck into that. I think 3 and 4 are also out now though. Next we have Inspector Volume 6, which, can we just talk about how thick that is? Goodness me, Volume 14 is like half as thick as that. Goodness me. My partner has been reading Inspector. We have been struggling to find some of the earlier volumes, so we were missing Volumes 5 and 6, now we have Volume 6. We are still missing Volume 5, but then we're up to date. But it's been hard to find Volume 5, at least, for a decent price. So I've managed to pick some up secondhand, and I've managed to find some just discounted. Hopefully we'll find Volume 5 soon, and he could keep on reading. Next we have Konosuba, God's Blessing on This Wonderful World, Volume 13. Konosuba holds a very special place in my heart, because it is one of the very first isekai that I got into. Actually, it might have been, goodness me, it might have been the first isekai anime that I watched, because I did actually watch some anime once upon a time while I was at university, and Konosuba was the one that I think I watched when I was like, I want something fantasy-y, and I really enjoyed the whole otherworld trope, and it sort of spiraled. I hadn't even realised there was a new volume of this out. Pretty much it releases like once a year. It's a very slow release. The light novel is now complete. I think it's 17 volumes. Usually manga is 2 to 3 2 to 3 manga volumes make a light novel, so we've probably still got a way off on the manga if they stay completely true, though they might not now that they've got all the source material. And then finally, this manga volume, Tales of Berseria, volume 1, was picked up by my partner because he has played a bunch of the Tales games, I believe. I'm not sure if he's played Berseria, he might have done? I don't know, I'll have to check. Trying to decide if I'd want to play the video game before I read it. It is a JRPG, so I'll be playing it for quite a long time, but I do often like playing games before I read the manga of them. So our final store here is Japancraft. So I quite like Japancraft. It was sweet, it was fun, and it was like my kind of aesthetic. It was quite cramped, and I didn't like that too much. There were a few other things that I was a little less keen on, but I'll talk about those probably after I've gone through the stack. So the first thing on top is Log Horizon. This is the light novel, volume 10. My partner's really been struggling to find this. Light novel's definitely a lot harder to find than manga. He loves Log Horizon. It was one of the first isekai video game series that he got into. I think he got into the anime way back when. There are only 11 volumes of the light novel out at the moment. There's been some weird... The author hasn't been a particularly great person, something about taxes, I believe. So it's all a bit up in the air if it will continue. There are a couple of extra... I think there is still more content that could be translated and printed in light novels format in English, but I don't know if they're going to. And my partner's sad about that, so he has to go find some more series to read. Next we have Arjun Demihuman Volume 12. It's a series that I've been trying to pick up for over a year now, I think, and I just pick a volume up here or there. And Volume 12 was one that just didn't seem to want to restock in Leeds. And when I saw it in Japancraft, I was like, well, okay, I'm gonna grab it because I can. That'll be, and then one step close to completion. Of course, within the month after I went to London, I went into Leeds, and yeah, they had volume 12, and I was like, oh gosh, dang it. Never mind, still managed to pick it up, which is nice. Next we have 2 volumes of Inuyashiki, volumes 2 and 4. So this is a series that my partner's been reading. We are missing volume 3, hence why this one's unwrapped and this one isn't. A lot of the earlier volumes have been hard to find as well for this series. Maybe it's just a Kodansha thing. Inspector is also Kodansha. I think we're only missing 3 and 10, and then we'll be complete. I don't really know anything about it, but he's been enjoying it, and I also appreciate the colourful spines. So when we were in Japancraft, they had a lot of series that I'd not really heard of. I kind of wanted to pick one that it sounded like my kind of thing, but I'd not really seen it or heard of it anywhere. So I decided to try this one, which is Our Last Crusade, or The Rise of New World, or The Rise of a New World. It's hard to read upside down. Volume 1. So I decided to pick this one up. I haven't yet read it, but I'm excited too. I think there is also a light novel, because I think I actually saw the light novel in another store recently, so I might pick that up for my partner, because it is always nice if I read the manga and he reads the light novel, and then we can compare. You've probably already noticed, but all the manga from Japancraft is individually wrapped in bags. I'm not too keen on bags. I know some people are, because it helps the manga stop being dusty, and it can sometimes help stop yellowing, but it can also really make yellowing a lot worse. And I think I was just quite surprised to see everything bagged up. It just, thank goodness, the amount of effort. Is it so people pull them off the shelves to have a look at, they can't damage them, but also then you can't flick through them, and I know some people don't want to buy manga if they can't look at the art first. I don't know. What I also didn't like was there is no prices on any of the volumes at all, so I was really nervous about picking stuff up. So the only manga I technically picked up were these 2, and I was in my head assuming worst $11.99 each. I can't remember if they were $11.99 each. But yeah, I don't like not knowing how much something is before I pick it up. That really makes me a bit nervous. So I was like, I'm going to limit myself to just a couple anyway. And then my partner mainly went for manga light novels that he's been struggling to find. I was really nervous. They had some neat looking series, but I was worried that I'd pick one up and then wouldn't be able to find it anywhere else. And I'd have to commit to buying all of it there and then, and at retail cost. I'm not doing that. I did quite like it, potentially go back, but the same issue with Mega City Comics. I didn't like how busy Camden Market was. It was too much for me, especially Saturday lunchtime, which I understand worst time to probably go. But yeah, so I didn't particularly enjoy my experience in general in Camden. Nothing to do particularly with the stores, so I'm probably not rushing to go back for that reason, unfortunately. The one more thing that I did pick up was this, like, what's the word? I want to say Gundam, but it isn't Gundam. It is a One Piece Thousand Sunny model ship. Yeah, this was a very impulse buy. It was a very much impulse buy. Love One Piece so much. And I thought having a little model ship would be amazing. And if I really like Thousand Sunny, I'll go and get the Merry-Go one. Whether I get it from Japan Craft or I find it somewhere else, don't know. But I think this will look so amazing on my shelves in front of my One Piece manga. So if we have a quick look inside, I assume there's some form of instructions. Oh dear god. Oh dear god, I'll look at that later. And then we've got a whole bunch of pieces and some stickers. That's actually not as many pieces as I thought there would be. I have no idea. I've never built a kit like this before. I'm trying to decide how to build it. A part of me is tempted to do a live stream, which is just me trying to build this and failing, and everyone can come and watch and heckle me. That might be fun. If you're interested in that, let me know in the comments down below. If there is much interest, I'll do that. If not, I'll just build it and just swear at myself in private. So that wraps up the general non-Forbidden Planet manga. This is already a decent amount of time for a video, and this isn't even most of the haul. So goodness me, it's going to be a long video. So sorry. Thankfully, I'm not overheating too much yet. I keep stopping and starting with a fan in my face, and also to stop my camera overheating, because my camera keeps overheating, unfortunately, which is never really done before. It's just so warm. It's hitting like 30 plus degrees. So yes, so I'm gonna tidy this up, cool down a bit, and then we're going to reconvene and look at Forbidden Planet. Okay, so this is the Forbidden Planet haul. Specifically, this is the manga bought as part of a 3 for 2. I'll do the light novels after this, and then I will do the sale stuff. But we'll do this first because this is the meat of the haul, to be honest. Lots of new releases. I do just wish to clarify quickly that I did this manga shopping trip mid-June, so when I talk about them as new releases, yes, they're not new releases anymore, but they were at the time. This is just the problem of me taking my sweet time to get my manga shopping videos out. It just means that everything I bought is no longer new, but it was at the time, I swear. So when I talk about it as a new release, that's why, even though, for example, you can see Komi 19 was really, that was like out way earlier than anything else, but 20 is now out, so yeah. First off, we have The 100 Girlfriends Who Really Love You Volume 2. Really kind of silly, dumb harem manga. It is a bit weird. He's like dating like all of these women. I understand that's what a harem is. Usually harems are like fantasy, and this isn't. It's just like the school kids. But it is really dumb, and it helps that it's really dumb and silly, because it does make me giggle, and it is quite aware of how dumb and silly the whole thing is. I'm not sure I would recommend it outright. It is plastic wrapped. And there was a character introduced that is like, she keeps looking like a child, but really she's actually like a busty teenage girl, so it's fine. No, it's not. It's weird. I'm just gonna rearrange a little so I can move that to the side. Next we have 2.5 Dimensional Seduction Volume 2. You know what? This is such a weirdly wholesome series. You would not expect it looking at the cover, looking at the title, looking at the description. There was one of the most wholesome moments I've ever read in manga in this volume, and I genuinely cried at how lovely it was. And I completely am happy to admit that's just me being a sensitive old softie. But dear God, this was actually really good. The premise is basically, this guy has sworn off 3D women. He just loves this 2D waifu of his, but then he meets someone who likes to cosplay and is as big of a fan of the same 2D woman character, and he's now starting to struggle to see the line between 2D and 3D, because she looks just like his 2D waifu, but she's 3D. The line is starting to blur, and he's starting to kind of just like the girl anyway, but there's a whole bunch about cosplaying and mature cosplaying, because I mean the outfits are yeah, adult is probably the right way of putting it. Is it a ghost ship? It is a ghost ship, and it's plastic wrapped. I do love the series. I would actually potentially recommend this to someone. This is like My Dress Up Darling, but another level up somehow. Black Clover 29, very excited to pick this one up because I didn't even know that there was a new Black Clover out. I very much enjoyed Black Clover. I enjoyed this volume. It's been a while since I read it now because it was one of the first things I read after I went manga shopping 2 months ago, but love Black Clover, it's great. Call of the Night 7 and 8. So I actually did go to Forbidden Planet more than once. I don't know how that happened. I started walking and I was suddenly in Forbidden Planet. So the first time I went, I picked up volume 8 of Call of the Night because I was like, I'm missing the latest volume. And then when I checked my spreadsheet, I also didn't have volume 7 because volume 7 had not yet stocked up north in any of the manga stores that I frequent, which were just a testament to how wild the new releases were in London, that I was picking up new releases that still to this day hadn't showed up in the stores in Leeds yet. It's insane. I have not gotten particularly far in Call of the Night. I need to read further, especially with the anime coming out. I'm intrigued to see what the hype is. Call to Adventure, Defeating Dungeons with a Skill Board, Volume 4. This is a distinctly average fantasy. It is a fantasy, not an isekai. It is a very similar premise to Solo Leveling, where dungeons have started appearing in the real world, and people now can have the role of a job of adventurer, and they go in and clear dungeons or loot them and stuff like that. But this is definitely a bit more lighthearted. There are some serious points. It can get a bit dire, close, not very. There's definitely some, what's the word? Not nice moments. But I still don't think it's as bad as Solo Leveling. Not bad. I don't know how to describe it. Yeah, it feels like Solo Leveling, but like a level down. Next we have Case Closed, Volume 82. I am now completely up to date. This is the latest volume of Case Closed, and I have all the other volumes of Case Closed, which is so beautiful. I just now need to start reading it. Chainsaw Man Volume 11, Part 1 complete. I don't know how they're going to do the volumes for Part 2. I wonder if they'll just continue on the numbering, kind of like Naruto Shippuden, or will they just start from 1 again? I hope they continue the numbering, is my preference. It's very annoying to put in my spreadsheet when there's multiple parts. I have only read Volume 1 of Chainsaw Man because I started to have some problems finding some of the volumes because they went out of stock, like a lot of people's did as well. And then it reached a point it was about Volume 9 where I finally had a clear run, and I was like, well, I'm so close. I'll wait and then I'll read them all together because 11 volumes isn't that many really. I might do a read-along, read-along, is that the word? Read-along? Buddy read, that's the word. I might do a buddy read with someone. I need to check if they're still interested in doing that, but I'm looking forward to getting into this, seeing what the hype's about. Chronicle of an Aristocrat in Another World, Volumes 4 and 5. Another series where Volume 4 had not come out, had not been on shelves in Leeds, but I managed to pick up both 4 and 5 at the same time. I quite enjoy this isekai. It's very light-hearted, and I really like isekai where the main character tries to recreate or bring things from their past life into the world they're currently in, which is what the kid's doing. In this one, he's like producing things to sell, like board games and entertainment stuff. And I really enjoy that. And plumbing as well. I'm fairly sure he introduced plumbing. I really like that. I have not read these yet. There is some, there are some weird bits around, like, him being engaged to multiple people at his current age, but everyone seems very happy about it, and he's just like, oh, well then, meh. I gotta be honest, I don't really get the hype. I thought it was fine. It was an interesting read. I always enjoy manga with food in. I liked the food bit and some of the weird bits around them trying to go fishing and stuff, but I'm not sure it gripped me though, as some other more mature series have. I don't know if this is seinen. I'll have to check if it is or not. I don't get the hype. I think it's fine. I enjoyed reading it, but not Not to the extent that I saw people go wild for it on Instagram. Let's just drag the next stack over because we've still got quite a few to go. Next we have Deadpool Samurai Volume 2. I love Deadpool Samurai because it is just breaking the fourth wall, but with manga. And this was great and silly, and there's some really dumb moments, and he makes reference to a meme that my partner and I use all the time, so my partner has to read this so he can also see the meme reference. It is only 2 volumes. I do kind of wish there was more, but I also think it kind of works being as short as it is. I also like that there are points where they like really break the fourth wall, but they break the fourth wall where it works in the manga, like the way that it's printed and the way the story's told on the pages. I don't know how else to describe it without just showing you, but I don't want to spoil that. If you're a Marvel fan or even a Deadpool fan, definitely would recommend. It's only 2 volumes long, and it's a Viz series, so that's one of the cheap ones to pick up. Does a Hot Elf Live Next Door to You Volume 4? I've read Volume 4, and it is a reverse isekai, or like there's like an isekai exchange where like people from other worlds can move between worlds really easily, and this elf girl is a big weeb basically and wants to come to Japan to see where manga is made and stuff. I read Volume 1 and it was exactly as the title suggests. There is a hot elf living next to this dude who's trying to make his own manga, and she gets really into and keen to try and help him. Next we have Arrow Ninja Scrolls Volume 2. This is meant to be a very degenerate series. I don't have Volume 1. I think I have ordered Volume 3 half price on Blackwell's, so I need to track down a Volume 1 so I can read it. Plastic Wrap Ghost Ship, so I decided to give it a go. Exo Drive Reincarnation Games All Japan Isekai Battle Tournament Volume 2. This is, if you're a fan of the isekai genre, this series is great. Basically, isekai is like a sport. Being isekai is a sport. There are these like simulators or you have a truck run at you, and then you go to another world and there are like win conditions, and you can also like have OP powers, and you can like stack OP powers on this, like they have them on like chips, and you like have them on like this arm thingy, I don't remember. But yeah, there's this whole like you're isekai and you have to like help the world out, and depending on how you help out the world, you get points, and then you challenge against someone else and you can win or lose. Fly Me to the Moon Volume 11. I am trying to keep up to date with buying these, but I am failing to keep up to date with reading them because I swear they come out monthly at this point. Goodness me. I did look up recently. Apparently there are like 22 volumes in Japan. It's given me like Rent a Girlfriend, insane rom-com ahead vibes. I do quite like Fly Me to the Moon. It's very sweet and wholesome, and nothing really happens. Like if you were to ask me to describe, so I think I've read up to Volume 7, if you were to ask me to describe what's happened so far, he got married. Well, it happens in chapter 1. And they just kind of like, they're having a nice time. They go on trips together, they eat food together. It's a very, very wholesome slice of life series. Ghost Reaper Girl, which is strangely printed left to right. Is it left to right? Because I'm upside down. It is left to right. And if you question why, it says in the back that it was requested upon by the creator of the series. I wonder why. It was kind of neat. It was a sort of battle-y, shonen-y series. I did actually struggle to try and keep reading it left to right though, which did put me off a little. I'm not sure there was much about it that like jumped out at me. I kind of like the art style and I really quite like the cover. Next up we have Imakoi Volume 2. Imakoi is probably actually my favourite ongoing shoujo at the moment. It's close with a couple of the series, but I really, really enjoy Imakoi. You know what? I love how much they communicate. It gets so much on my nerves when a series plot is continuing on just because the characters are unable to communicate with each other. But in this series, our main 2 characters do communicate when something's wrong. Someone says, "What is wrong?" and the other one says, "This is what's wrong." Or they come out and go, "I'm unhappy because of this," and I love that so much. Sometimes it might take a couple of pages, but it's not drawn out. You know, I'm fine with that. And it's just such a lovely romance. I like that it wasn't an initial eyes met, fell over in love. It's more, let's try dating and see where it goes. Very, very happy. Can't wait for volume 3. Invincible Shovel volume 3. So I'm going to say this is not an isekai. It has a dumb enough title and a dumb enough premise. It might be an isekai, but it's not. It's just fantasy. It's a fantasy where the shovel is... you know what? I don't even know how to explain it. There is just no way of explaining this without just reading it. This guy is has godlike powers due to his abilities with a shovel, and it's just like, oh, how do you have these powers? Oh, I've been shoveling for thousands of years. I am a miner, and this princess is like enthralled with the shovel and wants to create a kingdom based around the shovel. It is so super dumb and silly. There is a light novel as well. I have actually picked up volume 4 recently, which I haven't yet read, but it's just so dumb. I also think that technically this is like the full name, which if someone can tell me how you pronounce that, I would appreciate that. Last volume in this stack is J.K. Haru's A Sex Worker in Another World volume 3. Another one that was quite nice to see because I wasn't expecting it. This is like the harsh what it's not always greener in an isekai. So this girl, Haru, and a classmate of hers are both isekai'd. He's living it up. He's an OP warrior adventurer. He's having a great time. She has had to start working at a brothel to be able to basically earn some money, have somewhere to stay, have food, that sort of thing. And she is not treated particularly well. And it's kind of sad to read, but also is a good read, which is, I feel like you always need to try and differentiate. Just because you've enjoyed reading it doesn't mean you've enjoyed the content. It's a good story doesn't mean... Yeah, I know what I mean. Never mind. Apparently, this marks as like halfway through the series, or over halfway through the series. The light novel, I actually think, is only 1 volume, and then there's a couple of like spin-off side story ones. So, I honestly thought it was an ongoing, so I'm not too surprised. But it'd be interesting to see how it wraps up. Our next stack starts off with Komi! Yay! Komi 19! Genuinely so surprised to see this in store. As I said at the beginning, at the time of filming, I still hadn't found volume 17 of Komi. So being able to having volume 19, it was like, oh my god, this is wild. But also very sad because I then couldn't find 17 or 18. I have now since found them. They slowly appeared in stock in Leeds, but volume 19 I didn't see in Leeds. I think it was like 2 weeks ago I was last there, so beginning of August. So it took a month and a half from seeing it in London to seeing it in Leeds. Very sad. Very much enjoyed Komi, very much enjoyed this volume. Is this the one which had a nice chapter with her mum? No, it had the sleepover though. The sleepover was great. I also love the cover. I love autumnal colours and stuff. Next we have Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible Volume 1. This seems to be a rising trend on like slice of life, light-hearted rom-coms where one of the two in the pairing is really quiet. And this just seems to be another one. I'm not sure it's something... I did quite like reading it because I do quite like reading series with awkward, shy characters. Yeah. But I don't think there's anything so far that's like made me jump out and be like, ooh, this is a great one. I think it was fine. It was a pleasant read. Again, 6 or 7 out of 10 I think is what I gave it. Next we have Mao Volume 5. I have only read Volume 1 still of this. I think I now have like up to Volume 6, so I should just try and binge through them. I have started picking up more series from this author. I can't remember the names of them off the top of my head, but I am looking forward to reading this one. The Most Heretical Last Boss Queen, From Villainess to Savior, Volume 2. Oh my god, Villainess, Isekai, Villainess, Isekai, Villainess, Isekai. Again, was not expecting Volume 2, very excited to see this. In fact, I actually walked past it twice. I went multiple times. Both the first 2 times I walked straight past it because I thought it was Volume 1. And then I was talking to my partner about it and I was like, yeah, this is the series. And I was like, wait, what? This is Volume 2! Really have enjoyed this one. It is about, it's a villainess. She's a child at the moment and she's really conscious about not turning out villainessy like the character in the Otome game does, and she's very much overcompensating but isn't aware of it like quite a few of them do. I'm enjoying it. So far she's started to befriend some of the romance candidates. It's great, I'm enjoying it. But I kind of like them to speed up a bit so it gets more into like where we can actually see some romance, because it's all a bit more tame and lighthearted and not really there when they're kids, and I don't really want to see it when they're kids. I want her to grow up and it get more intense. Next we have Outbride, Beauty and the Beasts Volume 1. This is the first manga from the Steamship imprints. I did actually have it on pre-order from Blackwell's and I cancelled it so I could buy it in Forbidden Planet instead. I have read it. Yeah, so I have concerns. Mainly like her age. How old did they say she is again? Second year of high school. So it's a bit dubious. She could be, I think, anywhere between 15, 16, 17. If she's 15, dear God, ew. But even then, 16, 17, it is quite graphic. All of humanity has died out apart from her, and all these god celestials want to bone her, and her to have their children so they can like have really powerful kids to fight an oncoming evil. But she's like woken up, having been like hit by a car or something, and they're all like, cool, you're awake, okay, now have our children. And understandably, she's very upset, and she's just crying most of the volume. It's really upsetting. And also, if she's not intimate with them in some way, she'll die because of something in the air that is toxic to humans. So she has to keep smooching them all more so she doesn't die while crying, and sometimes they force her. It's really grim. Probably would not recommend. Actually, I can't open it. You know, it is quite a pretty art style, but there is also some really dubious scenes. Can I find a really nice scene which isn't dubious? Nope, a lot of the really nice, well-drawn scenes have some form of, I don't want to share on camera sort of thing. It felt like an interesting choice for their first Steamship title. I look forward to see what else they decide to publish under it. Next we have Reborn as a Space Mercenary. I woke up piloting the Strongest Starship Volume 3, would you believe? Isekai. I don't have Volume 2, I've been struggling to find Volume 2, at least for less than retail. It hasn't stocked in Leeds so far, it's gone straight from Volume 1 to Volume 3, and the same happened in London. They didn't have Volume 2, very sad. Hopefully I'll be able to pick it up. My partner's been enjoying the light novels. You don't get many space isekais, to be fair. Final volume on this deck is Rose and Blood Volume 3, which is utter trash. Like, this is a really bad series. I would not recommend. Art style, not bad. Story-wise, awful. Horrendously confusing. It doesn't make sense what's happening. It jumps all over the place. I get confused, and some of the text is just really weirdly phrased, so it's hard to understand what they are trying to say. I don't enjoy the series, but it's almost so bad I'm enjoying reading it to complain about it, especially to Emma and Tiffany. I know Emma's been reading it, Geeky Dreams, and she equally thinks it's pretty trash. So it's fun to just have a bit of a rant about it, I've got to be honest. Absolutely will not pay retail, if not for this at all. I would rather play less than retail. There's just so many things where I don't like any of the characters. It plot jumps like sometimes panel to panel, and it's like, wait, what? Why are we now in this room? Wait, have they changed clothes? I thought we just like moved to the next room. Why are they in different clothes? Wait, why are they outside? What's happening with this basket of apples? Yeah. So on top we have The Saint's Magic Power is Omnipotent Volume 5. This is another like romancy, I can't remember if it's a shoujo or josei, but a sort of a romance women-led isekai where a woman has been isekai'd and she is the saint and has power, and it's very light-hearted, very lovely, sweet. I'm very much enjoying it. Next we have Sakamoto Days Volume 2. I definitely enjoyed Volume 2 of this more than Volume 1. Volume 1 I thought was fine, it was okay, and in Volume 2 there were more moments in it where I actually like laughed or was like, that's a nice moment. Yeah, I feel like a lot of the shonen series that I'm reading at the moment are starting to wrap up or come to an end, so it has been interesting to see some of these new ones pop up because I wonder how long they're going to run for. Next we have Scarlet Volume 2. This is a GL vampire werewolf romance. It is awful. It is really bad. It is only 2 volumes long, and it felt like they tried to squeeze in enough lore for like a 10-11 volume series. So there was just non-stop lore, and then it kind of wrapped up, and it kind of was a bit strange how it wrapped up, and it was really sudden. Everything was so sudden. Everyone was running around everywhere. Yeah, I would not recommend this series even though it's only 2 volumes long. Next we have Shiori's Diary Volume 3. This is the final volume in the series. I was very much looking forward to this one because I wanted some closure on what was happening. I don't want to give too many spoilers. I don't know how many people are even interested in reading this. Basically, things did kind of turn out the way I thought they would, and I'm kind of glad about that. But people didn't react the way that I thought they would, so mixed feelings about the ending. Overall, it's not my kind of thing. I didn't really like the finding her husband's diary and that he was having a relationship with someone else, so she started sleeping with a whole bunch of random people. I would have rather they just communicated like they did in Imakoi. Not that situation occurred in Imakoi, but it just felt like a whole series based on miscommunication, and I just got really mad about it, basically. Next we have Skip and Loafer Volume 4, which, I don't know what demographic this is, I'll have to check. Really enjoy Skip and Loafer. It reminds me a bit of Komi, but our main character's issue with communication is different. She has different problems with communicating and talking to people than Komi does. But it kind of gives me similar vibes, and I think loads of the characters are super lovely and sweet, and I really enjoy it a lot. It took me ages to find volume 4. It still hadn't appeared in stock in Leeds last time I went. I was very happy to see it in London. I just need more of this. Onto our last manga stack of the 3 for 2 stuff. Next we have Snow White with the Red Hair Volume 19. I have been staying up to date with this series, picking it up, but again, I've not been reading up to date. I actually kind of dipped a bit around Volume 12. I started to get really bored with it, and I have heard other people say it does have a dip and it does pick back up. I just need to have the motivation to get back into it, really. Next we have Star Wars High Republic Edge of Balance Volume 2. Very much enjoying my Star Wars manga. Another one that's read left to right and it confuses me. Volume 2 was better than Volume 1. There was a whole bunch of action, things went wrong, things went down. Enjoyed that. I really like the era so like the High Republic, Old Republic sort of eras. I really hope we in general just get more content from around then, not even just manga, just anything. I want more from that. Next we have Sundome Milky Way Volume 4. Okay, so this volume had probably one of the most disturbing panels that I've ever seen in manga. I did not enjoy it at all. I actually, one of the first series ever that I am contemplating dropping because of how much I didn't like the panel. I'm gonna have a real think about it. It was just super gross. Time Stop Hero Volume 4. Okay, so this kind of bad, degenerate isekai, I'm kind of fine with. He is a complete disgusting person who likes to stop time and then pull down women's trousers and look at their boobs. That's gross, and skip over that. I enjoy the rest of it. I enjoy him using the time-stopping mechanic to like try and fight baddies and do things. Like he needs to climb to the top of this really horrific tower and he doesn't have time, so he just pauses time to try and figure out how to climb it, and it takes him like weeks and stuff. I enjoy that sort of thing. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend this to everyone unless I already know that you're into degenerate stuff. Who Wants to Marry a Billionaire Volume 3. I actually enjoying this more the more I get into it. There's just lots of things keep going down, there's lots of mysteries, we have lots of questions that we want to ask, and then there's also a lot of degenerate stuff. And I do enjoy degenerate stuff, just depending. I'm enjoying this. Apparently it's only 7 volumes, so I am glad that we don't have to wait a long time to get some answers. Yakuza Lover Volume 5. I do enjoy Yakuza Lover, but I am starting to get a little bored. I feel like we're getting a lot of the same kind of thing, and I kind of want more. I want more drama, or in a different way. I don't know. I don't really know what I want from the series, but I do feel like we're getting the same. Unrelated to the series, but this is like one of my favourite shades of purple. This is gorgeous. I love it. It made me very happy seeing this volume. I think it is complete now. I can't remember how many volumes. Could be horrendously wrong again. Next we have Yakuza Reincarnation Volume 2. This is a series where a old Yakuza boss has been reincarnated as a young princess, and it's as daft and silly as it sounds, but also slightly serious. I've been enjoying this one. Shame that I am already up to date. There is only 2 volumes out. Finally, on this stack we have volumes 35 and 36 of Yona of the Dawn, another series where I'm desperately trying to stay up to date while also waiting for restocks of earlier volumes. I do know, because I'm missing I think like volumes 4 to 11 and then about 3 random volumes after that. So I haven't been able to really start reading it. I have read the first few volumes, but I mean I'm stuck because I'm missing some. But I'm trying to stay up to date. I do hope to be able to read it at some point. Okay, so that was the manga. We're just going to run through the light novels that my partner picked up. This won't take as long because I know less about these and I've not read them, but I thought we need to share. And then we'll go on to the sale stuff that I picked up. So the first light novel he picked up was Arifureta From Commonplace to World's Strongest, Volume 9. So he's kind of sort of reading 3 series at the moment to try and catch up, and it's Arifureta, Log Horizon, and Overlord. He's again been struggling to find some of the Arifureta volumes. They're always out of stock. It is getting really sad. So I was excited to see this one, especially as it's 3 for 2. He also picked up Demon Lord 2099, and it's literally about as much as I can tell you. He was very naughty and he picked some volumes that weren't included in a 3 for 2. I then picked him up Drugstore and Another World Volumes 1 and 2. He was feeling a bit poorly on the last day just before we headed back, so I headed out to Forbidden Planet on my own, and I picked him these as like a I hope you feel a bit better sort of treat. He also got The NPCs in This Village Sim Game Must Be Real Volume 2. I am actually currently reading the 3rd manga of this while I keep pausing and waiting for my camera to cool down. That's what I'm reading. The light novel is complete at 3. I'm interested to see how many manga there'll be. It is a very interesting series where it's not an isekai, but this guy is like playing this game and he's looking after these characters, but it feels a bit too real. But it's kind of helping him improve as a person, and he starts the series as a shut-in, and he wants to get money to be able to help these people, so he gets a job and he's improving as a person, and it's quite nice, I think. Next we have an Overlord volume 9. Look at that hardback. Yeah, one of his favourite series, probably his favourite light novel series at the moment. He's very much enjoying it. I think he's only read up to volume 9 so far, but he has recently picked up all the way up to 14, which is up to date, so he's going to try and get through those shortly. He also picked up Reborn as a Space Mercenary light novel 3, like we matched. He got really sad though, because he picked this up and then the next day we went back and they had it in the sale section at half price, and it was like, oh no, oh well. I also picked him up The Strange Adventure of the Broke Mercenary, Volume 1. I've been reading the manga and I actually quite enjoyed it, even though it's not an isekai, it's just fantasy, and I thought he might be interested in trying it. And finally, I picked him up Trapped in a Dating Sim, The World of Otome Games is Tough for Mobs, Volume 6. I bought him the first couple of volumes a while back, and he was like, why have you bought me an Otome light novel? And I was like, trust me. And he read it and he was like, yeah, okay, I enjoyed that. Because it isn't outright a romance series. It's kind of mecha fights in it as well. It's very silly and he enjoyed it. So that was all the light novels that we picked up in Forbidden Planet, and I'm going to clear the table and bring over the sale stuff. Alright, so we have all of the stuff I picked up on sale. So let's go through the light novel stack first because there isn't as many. So on top we have Unwanted Undead Adventurer Volume 3 for $4.99. I've read the first manga volume and I thought it was neat, so I did see it and I was like, He'll probably enjoy it. Let's try it. Also picked up Magical Adventurer Reborn as a side character in a fantasy dating sim, volume 1 at $4.99 as well. It gave me Trapped in the Dating Sim vibes. Plus, also, he is kind of like me, that he'll happily try and read anything and everything. So I did just pick up some random stuff. Oh, there's a... Nope. Did just try and pick up some random stuff that he might be interested in. Or not. I generally try to stay away from more like slice of life light novels, more just fantasy or isekai. Thankfully there is a lot of those. The Irregular of Magic High School volume 10 at $4.99 as well. I did make a slight mistake. I thought he already had a couple of volumes of the series, but I mixed it up with another series, so he does now only have volume 10 of this, so I feel like I owe him a few volumes of this. Also, I don't like how blurry his hand is. I thought there was something wrong with my head. The Hidden Dungeon, Only I Can Enter volume 6 at $4.99. Very, very happy to see this because he is actively collecting this series, which is always a nice thing. But he only has, I think, volumes like 1, 2, and 4 at the moment. I'm not sure if he's read them yet. I've read the first manga. It's a bit interesting. Final light novel picked up was The Devils of Part-Timer volume 14 for $1.99. So it definitely looks a bit sun damaged on the spine. I assume it had been out for a while. All of the copies of this were sun damaged, so I couldn't like pick one that wasn't. He's not that bothered, so it was like, okay, fine, I'll pick it up anyway. He has, I think, like 6 volumes of The Devils of Part-Timer, just not particularly in order or anything. There is like 20 something volumes. It's quite long, this series, so probably be a while to pick them all up. So let's start with the manga. So the first manga volume I picked up on sale was Cocoon Entwined volume 4 at $4.99. I had been interested in picking this series up. The Forbidden Planet in Leeds has them retailed at $13.99, which makes its 3 for 2 price still like £9 something. So being able to pick it up at $4.99 very much made me happy. Oh, I can see its retail price is $11.99 here. Yeah, the Forbidden Planet in Leeds definitely puts their prices up and makes me very sad. But it's my best option unless I like keep going over to Manchester instead. I also picked up volumes 6 and 7 of I'm Standing on a Million Lives, both for 99p. I'm like, alright then, I'm happy to know nothing about the series and pick up volumes 6 and 7 at 99p. Having looked into the plot, it does actually sound kind of interesting. When I entered it into my spreadsheet, I had to go and look up like demographics and authors and stuff. I do see these pop up on secondhand sites a lot more, fairly frequently, so I should be able to nab them alright-ish. This one made me very happy, which is Kuma Bear Volume 6 at $4.99, because it is a series that I am actively trying to collect. I am missing Volume 5. They haven't really been... Volume 5 and 6 hadn't really gone down in retail when I looked online, and I don't think I'd seen them in store the last couple of times I went. So I've been able to find it for half price. Very, very happy. It's wonderful. Love at 14, Volume 11. I have been, this has been on my want to try list for a couple of years now. Interested in trying it out. My understanding is it's wholesome and lovely and sweet. Mages of the Library Volume 5 for $4.99. A lot of them are $4.99 actually, which is about half price. Look how thick that is for $4.99. That makes me so happy. Also a series that I am actively collecting. I only have volumes 1 and 2 at the moment. I believe Volume 5 is a fairly newish release. 2021, so not that old. There, very happy with that. Missions of Love Volume 18 for 99p. Again, I have been collecting a lot of this series secondhand, really cheap. No one seems to like the series, so I am very excited to read it because I hope it's so bad that I enjoy it. Monster Guild, The Dark Lord's No Good Comeback Volume 2 for $4.99. I actually bought Volume 1 for $4.99 on Blackwell's as well, so I'm enjoying picking up the series so far at $4.99. My Youth Romantic Comedy is Wrong as Expected at Comic, Volume 17 at $4.99. I think this is another one that's like the latest volume, January 2022, so it's a newish volume. Second stack, we have No Matter What You Say, Furi-san is Scary, Volume 2 at $4.99. This is, first printing, January 2022. This is another one of those series where, that I said seems to be coming up more and more, which is like slice of life, Actually, it's not one of them is really shy, it's one of them's like really angry, grumpy. There's quite a few of them at the moment. Rolling this around. Super Heroes, is that how you pronounce it? HX Eros, volume 5 for $4.99. I've been wanting to start picking this one up because it's a plastic wrap series and I'm complete degenerate. So happy to start picking them up half price. I know it's only volume 5. Valor Love volume 10 for $4.99. So this is a series I have already started picking up, but again, I'm picking them up randomly here and there second hand, mostly for this price or less actually. So happy to find this one discounted. I'm actually going to do these two together even though they're different series. So we have Wave Listen to Me volume 8 at $4.99 and Witch and the Beast volume 8 at $4.99. So I found it really interesting finding these because Witch and the Beast and Wave Listen to Me are both series that I am actively collecting and up to date on, and I'd been waiting to see this volume in my Forbidden Planet in Leeds and it had not stocked yet, but they had it half price and I'd seen some people, I posted about it on like Twitter and Instagram, I bought all this sale manga and people were like, oh, it tends to be the stuff that's been sat on the shelves for a really long time, and I could potentially see that, but these are both very new releases at the time, especially mid-June. Like I said, they hadn't been shelved yet in Leeds, and some people had said that they'd like pre-ordered copies from various sites and they still hadn't shipped them in the UK. So I found it really interesting seeing these. I also don't see any damage. Some of the sale manga they had, if it was damaged, it did have a label saying this is damaged, you can't return this. So I'm intrigued to know why these were discounted and on sale, because they can't have been there that long. But I was very, very happy to pick them up half price. I like picking up my new releases half price. I wish I could do that more often. And then the final volume in this stack and haul is Yamada-kun and the Seven Witches volumes 25-26. Because partway through the printing they decided to start omnibusing them, but they omnibus them like this, so it does kind of have two, it does have the 2 volumes and it lists as having 2 volumes, but it is one book. There we have it. That was my London Mega Manga haul. God damn, that's gonna be such a long video. I sure hope you've stuck around and you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what you thought of the stores. Let me know what you thought of the manga. Any of the stores you want to try out. Have you checked out the videos? If not, go check those out. Links can be found down below. I realised I didn't say anything about Forbidden Planet. I feel it probably is evident that I'm happy to go back and will go back. The manga section had definitely expanded so much since I was last there. It's more almost like tripled in size. Plus the sale section, beautiful. If you check out any of these manga stores because of my video, please let me know. I'd love to know what you thought going in person, what you picked up, that sort of thing. That would be really neat to know. I'm gonna wrap it up there. I need to go and decide if I am cool enough to still film another video because I have my July haul lined up and ready to be filmed. But yes, otherwise, don't forget to give this video a like, comment what you thought down below, and subscribe for so much more manga content. As I just said, I'm going to film my July haul. I have a big bag of packages I need to unbox, and the moment I've done that, I am going to actually get around to filming another collection tour. It has been a little while since I did it. And I want to talk about, the next collection video is going to be me talking about where I got the manga from and talking about the volumes themselves. Also check out my social media and affiliate links down below. Get yourself some goodies on Blackwells, especially if you see any good deals. Find my Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I'm trying to be more active across everything. Otherwise, I hope you have a most wonderful day and I will see you next time. Bye!